Recordings in progress. Fabulous. Okay, so welcome everybody to this Zoom webinar on goal setting. And there's a few things I'm going to talk about today. One is we're going to start talking about success. What is success? We're going to have a little bit look about reviews and how you review your goals and how I review my goals and my year that's gone. And then we're going to talk about actually setting goals and targets for the coming year, 2024. And at the end, I'm going to set you all a little challenge that you might want to take on, you might not, but we'll see how we go when you get to that. It's probably only about 20 minutes, 30 minutes today, plus any questions and answers, any questions you have. So it's not going to be a long session, but if you have any questions, maybe put your hand up and I'll unmute you, or you might be able to unmute yourself and I'll try and answer them as I go. Okay, right. So success. What is success? So there's various ways of reviewing success, but the one that works for me and the one I think about success is that success is someone who's working towards a predefined goal every day, and that person's having a progress towards it. That makes that person successful at the end of the day. People that don't work towards goals and don't work towards them every day are not successful, or some people might say failures. There was a study done some long time ago now on 100 people that were 25 years old, and those 125-year-olds were asked if they wanted to be successful. Of course, all of them said yes, we want to be successful. So they sort of tracked these people for years, and 40 years later, when they were 65, they went and found these people again and then had a look at how they got on. Of those 40 people, one person was rich. 4 people of those 100 people, at 65 were financially independent. So one rich person, 4 people financially independent. There was 41 people still working at the age of 65, and 54 of them were broke, had no money at all. So we're looking at a 5% of the population are people that are successful or achieve some form of success. And why do they achieve those successes? It's because they set themselves goals and targets and they work towards it every day. So before we go into setting goals, I'm going to have a little look at a review that if I can bring this document over, let's see if I can get it from over here. Let me share the screen. Share the screen. Okay, you will see my screen. Can you see the Zoom? Give me a wave if you can see that. Brilliant. Okay, so this is a document some of you may have seen before, some of you may not have seen before. I'm happy to send these out to you if you want it, if you can't read it. This is the questions, the main questions that I would ask myself at the end of every year. So we're coming to the end of 2023, and here is my questions. Question number 1, what did I do that really made me happy? So what did you do that you might not have noticed it? Someone else may have noticed it, made you smile, made you happy, made you, think really, really get yourself going, get your adrenaline going. For me, somebody pointed out to me many years ago that when I'm teaching or I'm mentoring or coaching, I seem to be smiling almost outwardly because it seems to be something that I'm doing, I enjoy. So it was somebody else that sort of pointed that out to me. And that might be something that you have a good friend that can point that out to you if you're not sure what it is you're doing happen. I know Maria's here. I know that Maria and I had the same simulation. When I got into Maria's car and turned the engine on and hear the sound of the engine, that made me smile. That's not necessarily going to be one of my goals. I'm going to drive Maria's car all the time, but that's something that made me happy and made me smile. So think about what it is that makes you happy, makes you smile, something that you did in 2023, and maybe somebody pointed out to you, you looked really happy when you were doing that. Next, what did I accomplish in 2023? So what really stands out? What is it that you did in 2023? Did you do something new? Did you start a new venture? Did you move into something, a different business or a different style? Or did you have a new relationship? Anything like that? What was your biggest challenge or challenges of 2023 that you really, really enjoyed, or really tested you in some way. Of course, without a doubt, we're all going to make mistakes. What mistakes did you make? What went wrong? What went well? Make a note of those, because those are things you can learn from. What can I learn from that mistake? What mistake did I make? So a mistake for me might have been not having my notes with me, realizing I've had to travel all the way down to London at the last minute for doing this session. But I've managed to get my notes and everything because I've got Dropbox and things like that. But a mistake might have been not having that. What did I learn from that? Well, I've done that before, and I learned not having Dropbox makes it very, very difficult. One of the other things we tend to do as investors or business owners is we want to know what's our capital net worth. This is effectively my all the things I've got minus my debt. So for me as a property investor, how many properties have I got? How much mortgages have I got on them? Take them away, other costs, and then I've got my net worth. So what am I worth? It's not necessarily something you're going to brag about to other people. It's just a measure of how you've done that year. It's about saying, how well have I done? Have I achieved what I wanted to achieve? Am I getting to where I wanted to be? And from a property point of view, this is just for property. Property review might be, what was my best performer? What's my worst performer? What should I do about it? I had a property this year that was a complete nightmare. It just didn't earn me any money at all. In fact, it cost me a little money. So I've got to sit down and decide, what am I going to do about the property? Is that something that was just a one-off? Was there something that happened? I've had that property 10, 15 years, I think now. And during that time, it's always performed. But this year, it's been a particularly bad year. So what am I going to do about that? Am I going to keep it? Am I going to throw it out? If you're in business and you're looking at your business and you're going to say, okay, so what aspects of my business performed really well? What aspects of my business didn't perform so well? What am I going to do about it? Am I going to stop doing that? So a very good friend of mine, every year, he says he wants to set up a new business every year. And the goal is to try and generate £12,000 profit from that business every year. Otherwise, he drops it. So that might have been something that you've done. You set up a new business and you set yourself a target. Do I carry on with that business? Is it making me any money? If not, okay, move on. Let's do something else. What have I learned from that? I mean, those questions in there are really, that I've got up on the screen at the moment, are really based around property. Do I need to increase the rent? Were they bad tenants? Do I need to sell it? Do I need to find better management? That's a big thing with property investment. Do you need a good management team? Is your letting agent or your management agent doing a good job for you, or are they letting you down? Do you need better tenants? So these are all things that you would write down and review, whether it's to do with property or whether it's to do with your business, and you can then review your year. One other thing that you can do is, if I can get this other one from this screen over here, that one out of the way, is some of you may come across KPIs, so key performance indicators. This is probably quite hard to see if you're on a small screen. Again, I can send it out to you. Some of you may have seen this already before. So you've got your assets down one side and your liabilities down the other side. So what assets have I got? Have I got property? Have I got shares? Have I got ISAs? Have I got pensions? What other things might I have that's an asset? What's my bank balances for my assets? So it's also an asset in my personal, my business, my savings. What are my liabilities as a percentage of my assets? So this is for those people that are maybe numbers based. Someone like Rosie, who loves the numbers and accountancy, may like doing this. It's not for everybody, but it's something that's worth considering. And then we talked about passive income. And most importantly, do I have an emergency fund of at least £1,000? Have I been putting away something every year, every month, into an emergency fund that's at least £1,000? There is also definitely an element that I try to achieve, and that's I've got at least 3 months worth of income in my bank account in case something goes wrong and everything stops. So let's say every single one of my tenants stops paying me rent. Every single one of my business clients stop paying me to coach them and mentor them, and the world just stops for me. And I'm going, oh my God, where's all my money coming from? Well, I've got 3 months to do something about that if I've got 3 months in the bank account. If I have nothing in the bank account or very small amount in the bank account, I'm going to be in a pretty difficult situation, and I'm going to be struggling. I may be going into debt to try and just to live. So that's one side of that that asset KPI. The other side are my liabilities. Obviously, my home mortgage, that's a liability. Have I got investment mortgages? Have I got credit cards? Have I got loans? How much did I earn in the last year? How much expenses did I have? Look at the different income streams and how much they brought in, my largest and so on. Once you've got all this data, you can then start to decide which way you want to go, and what you want to do about it. So that's really the kind of thing I would do every year. One other thing, I'm trying to find out how to minimize this, sorry. One other thing I would also do is, let me stop sharing a second, is I would also be looking at my, I do a review every year along some lines with property, what my property's worth at the end of this year compared to what it was worth last year. Has it gone up? Has it gone down? What percentage is it versus my actual mortgages? Then also with my business, again, what went well with my business? Is it worthwhile me proceeding with that business? So as some of you know, 2 or 3 years ago, I left the big company that I was mentoring and coaching for, and I set up a mentoring and coaching business for property on my own directly. So I review that. How's that going? Is it performing the way I want to do? Is it something I need to carry on doing? Is it something I need to drop? Is it something I need to put more focus on? I've also set up, I've gone this year, I've always done it, and it's always been business mentoring for the Princess Trust and other clients. But this year I've decided I'm going to go only towards the end of this year, really, that I'm going to start next year actually focusing on building a client base for my business coaching, teaching people how to do better, grow their business and how to generate more income. Because I've done that. I've been doing that myself all my life, and I've got that experience, and I've also got myself accredited. So those are things that I've decided that I'm going to do, or decide I was going to do, and the reviews I'll be looking at. So when we're talking about setting goals and we're talking about creating our own goals and our own targets, we have to be crystal clear. You have to have real clarity about what it is you want to do. Now, you might only have one goal that you want to work on next year. You might have 10, but I don't think you want any more than 10. And it's in different areas of your life. So here's a sheet again. Let's see if I share this screen again. Share that screen. Yeah, share that. So here's another document that, again, some of you may have seen, some of you may not have seen. And this is, there's 6, 8, 10 boxes, I think, in there, boxes where I would put areas that I'm going to be putting goals for. And when I'm sitting down, so every year I take out 3-4 days of the year. So I'm going to be doing it after Christmas this year. I go somewhere and I spend 3-4 days reviewing the year. And then I'm going to sit down and start planning my goals. I'll start with a sheet like this, and I'll start writing down, is there any goals in health and fitness that I want to achieve? So do I want to do something different? For example, for me, last year was to try and achieve at least 4 times a week, 30 minutes of exercise that's going to increase my heart rate in some way. That was one of my health and fitness goals. Spiritually, for me, was make sure I meditate, try and meditate every day. I've always meditated every day for about 10 minutes. Last year, I set myself a target to try and meditate a little bit longer, because I have a problem. I don't know if any of you guys have the same problem, but I have a problem quieting in my mind. My mind's very busy all the time, and I can't quieten it down in 10 minutes. So I thought I'd try and go for a little bit longer. So I'll be looking at how well I did on that. Personal development. Every single year, I set myself a target to do something that's going to improve me, something that I can benefit from. This year, I decided I was going to get my business accreditation for development and being a coach in business. So I went and did that with an organization called the Entrepreneur Circle, and I'm now an accredited business coach for them. Even though I've been doing it before, I just thought that it'd be good to go and do an accreditation under somebody else's way that they do it, and find out how they do it and apply their best bits to me. Social and fun. Socially and fun, I always like to, one of the things I have always played for a long time is hockey. So I like to carry on playing hockey. How many times a week am I getting to play hockey? Last year, I didn't get to play very often. This year, I'm going to try and play more. Socially, I always try and spend time with my family and friends every week. Property goals, I may want to increase the number of properties I buy this year, or maybe it's not the number of properties I buy this year, it's the number of the amount of cash flow they're going to produce this year. So I might want to increase my cash flow. Say, for example, I want to increase my cash flow another £1,000 a month. So I'm going to get £12,000 a year. So how many properties do I need to buy to increase my property cash flow by £1,000 a month? Financially, could also be linked in with property, but it could be linked in with how much money do I actually want coming in from these various businesses into my bank account every month that I've got to use. Relationships, for again, those of that know me, for 4 years previously, I was going through quite a nasty divorce, and I was really wanting to find that relationship with somebody who was going to be my soulmate. And I'm glad to say I have found someone that's my soulmate and someone that's I really want to spend the rest of my life with. That was one of my goals, believe it or not. That was something I wrote down. That's what I wanted to do, and something that I would do affirmations about regularly. Hobbies. What hobbies have I got? I like going to the cinema. So I've got an app on my phone from Vitality. If I do a certain number of exercise a week, I get points, and the points become free tickets to the cinema. And I use that, and I'll go and watch a film because I love going to the cinema. I love seeing big movies in the cinema. I think there's one out at the moment called Napoleon, which might be my my next view. Other things I want to do at home, and then there's others box. So this is just an example. This is not exhaustive. You might have your own. And again, I'm happy to send this through to you. Once I've done that, let's see if I can minimize this again. How's that going there? No. Come on. What have I done? Oh, I do that way. And once I've done that, I'll bring out this little document, which is my goal planner. Now, I've just said I probably, if I filled in all those boxes, I've probably got a lot more than 10 goals in there. So I then will sit down and decide how many of those goals are really, really important to me. How many of those I really want to achieve. It could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 1, it could be 2. But I will then take those goals and I will create one of these goal planners for each of those goals. I'll put a date on it, the date I've created this goal, which might be the 31st of December, wherever it is. I'll write the goal, what it is. I'll write down why I want to achieve that goal. That's really important. Why do you want to achieve that goal? Excuse me. I've said I wanted to maybe get another properties that are going to generate me £1,000 extra cash flow a month. Why do I want to do that? Is it because I need more money, or is it because I need to put the money into something else? Am I saving that money for my? I'm now a grandfather twice. Am I going to put some money aside, an extra £1,000 a month aside for my grandchildren? You know what? Why am I wanting that extra £1,000 a month? The next step is, when am I going to start? Most of us are going to start 1st of January for this one. When am I going to finish? So what's my goal length? So you can have short-term goals, middle term, and long term. So you can have short-term might be a year, might be 6 months. Mid-term might be 2 years to 5 years. Long-term might be 10-year goal. So I'm writing this down. If I'm going for a mid one for 5 years, then this one will get carried over each year, and I'll just review it each year. It's important to have milestones as well. How am I going to gauge my success, or how I'm doing with that goal? So if we took, let's say the £1,000 one. So if we took the £1,000 and I know that I can achieve £300 per month cash flow from a buy-to-let property. So I know that if I get my first one, second one, when I get my third one, I'm almost there. So that could be my milestone. Milestone number 1, got my first property. If I'm doing an exercise task, have I managed to achieve twice a week getting my 30 minutes, increasing my heart rate? Milestone 2 might be something along the lines of 3 times, and then milestone and so on and so forth. I might then want to do my next steps. What am I going to do next to achieve that? So if I'm going to set a goal, let's talk about something other than property. Let's say, for example, let's say I wanted to have 20 new clients, business clients or coaching clients, property or business. What's my next steps to achieving that? Well, my next step might be, one of the steps might be that I've got to tell people what I'm doing. How am I going to tell people what I'm doing? Am I going to do it on social media? Am I going to, start posting out on Facebook? Am I going to start posting out? I'm going to say emails out. Am I going to go to network meetings and tell people what I do, how I do it? So what are my next steps to get those clients? Do I need anything to help me with those? What obstacles might, okay, hang on, I've jumped the gun then. Now I'm going to bring this one in, which is where exactly the same document, but I've added a little bit to it. What are my obstacles? What might stop me from achieving that target? Do I need, if I'm trying to get new clients, do I need a budget for Facebook ads? Do I need money to spend on that? That's an obstacle. Do I struggle with doing videos and posting videos? Have I got a problem with seeing myself? A lot of people have a problem. I certainly did when I started to do this, to see myself on camera, to talk to the camera, to video it, because I'm going to be posting out something on social media about what I'm doing. Is that an obstacle for me? What else might be an obstacle? Do I have to go out and physically meet people? Am I a little bit shy? Do I not do that very well? Do I have a physical problem? Can I not walk upstairs? Can I not get to places because I don't have a car to go and meet people? So these are all obstacles that I would writing down, and what those obstacles are, and then I would start thinking about what my solutions might be to those obstacles. What if I haven't got a car? How am I going to get there? Can I get a taxi? Do I know somebody else that's going to the same network meeting as me that I might be able to get a lift with, offer them some petrol money? Is there stairs in the way? Do I phone ahead if I can't get upstairs and check if there's a lift up there? What other obstacles were there? Do I have enough money for posting social media? Well, if I don't, are there ways I can do it without spending too much money? There's one guy I know who decided to have a social media campaign, and what he wanted to do. So he's a business, he's a cleaning business, and he wanted to work in, he wanted to get all the cleaning contracts for pubs and clubs and night clubs. But how do you get to speak to the owner? How do you get to talk to them? So he didn't have a budget to go and start sending leaflets out, start emailing people, start putting Facebook ads. So he did a whole campaign on himself of going on Facebook and joining the Facebook groups that these people might be in, and then being on those groups and contributing on those groups, and then learning about those people and finding out what they want, what they need, offering to various help on that line. So they became someone that they recognized before they even approached him. There's a story about the guy who created Just Juice. Excuse me. He couldn't get the smoothies. He couldn't get them into the supermarkets. No matter what he tried, the supermarkets were not interested. So what did he do? He found out, I don't know if you know about, come across Darren Brown. He did a bit of a Darren Brown, I'll call it. He found out who the head buyers were for those different places. And what he did was he stalked them a little bit, I suppose, but he worked out what their route to work was. So head buyer for Marks and Spencer's takes this particular road to work every day. So he went and he put adverts on the bus stops on the way to the guy's work that said Just Juice, or whatever what it was, say, the organic fruit produce that makes you healthier. He put them up there for about a month. And then when he called the guy goes, "Oh yeah, I've heard of you." And instantly he's got an in. It's a psychological thing. It's a bit naughty, but it worked for him, and that's how he got into it. So what are the solutions to your obstacles? It's about clever outside the box thinking. And then finally, what affirmations do you have to support those goals? What affirmations are the way of you talk to yourself? How do your self-talk, and you do it to yourself regularly, probably once a day. Some people do it twice a day, even 3 times a day, and say to yourself, as if it's in the current tense, that you've achieved it. So, for example, I have increased my cash flow by £1,000 a month this year through property. I have been running or exercising 30 minutes a day for 4 days a week, every week of this year. I have helped 20 people with their businesses as a coach or a mentor. So those are the affirmations that you might want to use, and things that you might want to do your self-talk. And you've always got to put them in a positive, and you don't have to put them as a tense that you've already achieved them, but it does help. Some people might say I will, or I am going to, but I have achieved it tells your subconscious that you have achieved that kind of thing. So let's see what there. So some of the other things that might help you with achieving your goals are something called a vision board. I do a vision board every year, and this is one of the things I do away. During the year, I take pictures, or I cut snippings out of newspapers of things that I might think of my goals. A particular this year, for example, I'm thinking of my vision board for this year. There was a certain holiday I wanted to achieve, and that was for somebody special in my life, who I wanted to take her to Singapore, which is somewhere that she always wanted to go. And that was on my vision board. There's like a garden, like a metal sort of a mushroom, I suppose, but it's a lighted garden. I had a picture of that on my vision board because that's something I wanted to achieve, and I've ticked that off. But I find it easier visually for me to have something I see every day above my desk whenever I go to sit there, and it just kind of subconsciously reminds me. And I know I've achieved pretty much everything on that board that I put up there last year. One of the things I'm nearly finished, and that is I'm slightly dyslexic, and I want to read 10 books a year. And I've just finished. I'm just started number 10, so I'm hopefully going to have that finished by the end of the year. So those are kind of things that help me and help me get to where I want to be. So remember, when you write down your goals, it really, really does make it come to life. Otherwise, it's just a New Year's resolution or a wish or something like that. So that's what I wanted to cover. But I wanted to set you guys a challenge, if you want to accept it, of course. And that is something that you can do for the next 30 days. You can start now, or you can start in January. And that is, I want you to think about one of your goals, one of the goals, and it's got to be a goal that you really want to achieve. Something, think of it, write it down and think of it in a relaxed manner, and imagine yourself doing it. Imagine yourself achieving that goal. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What are you going to do when you reach that goal? And then I want you to write that down on a piece of paper or a piece of card that you're going to keep in your purse, in your wallet, in your handbag. So something like this, and you can see I've got there. I've helped 20 people achieve their goals and targets this year. So a little bit of paper like that. I've got one about my exercise. Was there? I've exercised 30 minutes. Blah blah. I've got one about increasing the portfolio. The camera's not doing, is it? £1,000 a month. Write that down. Write that goal down. Put it in somewhere you're going to see it every day. If it's in your wallet, if it's stuck on your mirror in your bathroom, if it's stuck in your kitchen somewhere, on your fridge, and make sure it's somewhere that you can pull it out and you can see it every single day for the next 30 days, or for when you start it. And not just once. When you get up in the morning, that's great. You're up in the morning energized and you read it. Maybe if you're having lunch, you might sit down, if you have it in your wallet, and pull it out and read it out of your wallet or your handbag. If you're going to bed, before you go to bed, you might want to read it. And just remember that that's all you've got to do. Don't worry about how you're going to do it. We've talked about that. We've done all that already. You may not have done what I've done or how I've done it. Don't even go there. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just let your subconscious mind start working on it for you. And the fact that you're doing that, and you're talking to yourself, and you're saying you're going to do it, you're reading that out to yourself every single day, at least 2 or 3 times a day for the next 30 days. and I want to see, you don't have to share this with me, what the goal was, but it'd be good for me to get in touch with you in 30 days time and see how you're getting on with that one goal that you've written down. And remember that you've got to do this for 30 days. You've got to commit. There's a law, Isaac Newton's law. Basically, you've got to put the effort in to get the effort out. You've got to put the work in, otherwise you're not going to get a result. You know, there's the law Isaac Newton was, for every action there's a negative and equal reaction. So you've got to put the work in for this to happen. You've got to put the pain in, and don't worry if you don't see any results straight away. Just trust in this process for 30 days and see where you go and see how it happens. And just remember, if you don't ask for something, you won't get it, and you don't know where it's going to come from. Okay. So, I mean, is everybody going to have a go at that, or is everybody's, I can see nodding? Good, fabulous. Because if you want, I can hold you accountable. I've got your emails. I can fire you an email each week just to remind you or something like that. But what I will do is in 30 days time, towards the end of January, ask you all how you're getting on with those goals. Maybe give you a ring. Some of you I might see more regularly anyway, but and do that kind of stuff. Oh, hang on. There's a question there. What does that say? Who's writing me a question? Testing my technology here now. Where's the questions come up? Oh, yes. Want to do the challenge? Okay, sorry, Julika. Thank you. So Julika's going to do the challenge as well. So has anybody got any questions? I can unmute you all if you all want to chat now. You can all have a chat, and any questions, fire them at me. No questions. No.
Neil, only to confirm that you're happy to send over those slides.
Yes, I'll send over. Yeah, I'll send over all those documents to you. I'll email them over to you or put them on WhatsApp, whatever you prefer.
That'd be great. Could you include this 30-day challenge in that just as a prompt?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'll this is being recorded, so I can send you the link to that so you can watch this back. But if you want a prompt and you want me to prompt you every week, I will prompt you every week. I can send you out an email asking you how you're getting on, and you can respond back to me. But this is about you putting all the effort in. You know, this isn't me doing it. This is you doing it. Yeah. All good? Everybody happy? Good. Well, thank you all for coming along this evening and listening in. Thank you for being at the end of the phone. It's good to see some faces I haven't seen for a little while. Especially you there, Julika. I haven't seen you for ages. I hope you're well. And oh yeah, lots of smiley, happy faces. I'm glad to see you all. And I'll finish the recording and sign off now if there's no more questions. And I'll speak to you soon. Everybody have a fabulous Christmas, by the way, if I don't see you before. And see you in the new year when I call you up about your 30 days. Okay. All right. Take care.
Cheers. Good night.
Bye.